I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. We appreciate that. Let's say good morning to meteorologist Jill Gilardi. Get a check on that first alert forecast. Hey, good morning, Jill. How's it looking out there?
Good morning. Yeah, it's better. Not as much fog as, Scott was talking about. We maybe see a couple locations.
Yeah.
So that is good news because it once upon a time looked like it was going to be another really foggy morning.
What does the fog say?
Yeah,
we don't have to do that today.
No, I don't have to work on that. But let's talk about, we're in the month of October. It's a beautiful sunrise. This is one of the pretty views outside right now in Hartford, where it's 57 degrees. All right, so now we're at the point where the normal high is 70. The normal low should be 48. Now our extremes are, as we go through this month, what a change. By the end of the month for Halloween, the normal high goes to 58, the normal low goes to 38. And we should get 4.5 inches of precipitation. We average about half an inch of even snow. Of course, there can always be extremes, like extreme highs of 91 back in the 60s and 20s, or a record cold back in 1978. And of course, we've had heavy rainfall. That was in 2005, and we've had that big time snow and all those power outages at the end of the month. 12 foot of snow then at the end of this month. All right, let's talk about what's happening now, though. Some scattered clouds, a little bit of patchy fog out there. Temperatures right now in the 50s as we start off the day. As the day continues, those 50s become 60s, and then eventually those readings climb into the low 70s for the most part. So some scattered clouds, but really that rain chance is very low. But we've added some of those rainy icons to the 7-day. We'll pinpoint those for you coming up a little bit later. Let's get an update, though, on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jill. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on the Wax. If you're just getting ready to head out the door, majority of the state looking very typical. You can see not really dealing with too many delays in terms of your traffic flow towards the Hartford region here, 84 eastbound. But we are dealing with heavier delays that are building 95 southbound New Haven to the George Washington Bridge, and then along the Parkway as well this morning. But we're crash and incident free, so that's a little bit of good news as you're getting ready to head out the door. And then that daytime construction work picks up between 8:30 and 9 o'clock this morning, so if you're planning to leave a little bit later. Live look here in Hartford, 91 north and southbound lane. You can see here as traffic is merging onto 84, slowing down just a little bit with that merge. Live look here in Waterbury, 84 east and westbound in and out of the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Live look in Middletown along Route 9. Things are moving along nicely there. Just a tiny bit of that haze or fog that you want to call it here in Meriden, 691 east and westbound, but traffic volume through this area is light. I'm Caitlin Francis with your Connecticut Chevy First Alert Traffic Report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, breaking overnight, dock workers at ports from Maine to Texas are striking right now over pay and automation. The contract ended at midnight, and with no deal in sight, there are new concerns about the impact moving forward.
Eyewitness News reporter Marcy Jones breaking down the impact that this may have on all of us.
Good morning. Well, we are out in front of a New Haven port. Well, thankfully, their operations will not be affected. That's because they don't have the capacity for massive cargo ships. However, experts warn that nobody will escape this strike unscathed. The issue boils down to the fact that the contract between the ports and about 45,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association expired at midnight after failed negotiations. The strike, impacting 36 East and Gulf Coast ports, will have a ripple effect, straining the flow of many imports and exports, prompting some experts to call it potentially America's most disruptive work stoppage in decades, warning that the longer the strike goes on, the work stoppage could lead to higher costs on goods and create shortages ahead of the holiday shopping season, affecting shipments from everything such as bananas to plywood, interrupting the flow of both consumer goods and industrial materials for factories.
A 2 to 3 day strike will take 2 weeks to clear. A 1 week strike will bring us into November, and then 2 week strike will bring us into early next year before those containers and ships will be processed.
JP Morgan estimates that the strike could cost the economy anywhere from $3.8 to $4.5 billion every single day. That's why everyone is hoping for a swift resolution. In New Haven, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Tonight, the 2024 vice presidential candidates will go head-to-head on the debate stage, and it's all unfolding right here on CBS and Channel 3.
Channel 3's Jared Hill got early access to the set of tonight's debate and is giving us a breakdown of the new rules.
We are inside the CBS Broadcast Center with a lay of the land for the first and currently only scheduled vice presidential debate of the 2024 presidential election. Democratic vice presidential nominee Governor Tim Walz will be standing on the right-hand side of your screen. Republican VP pick Senator J.D. Vance is going to be on the left. He won the virtual coin toss, which means that he chose the order for the closing statements and opted to go last. All right, so let's talk about the rules. There will be no opening statements. The candidates won't be able to bring any props with them. There also will be no studio audience, but something different from the presidential debates. The microphones, both of them, will be hot throughout the night, although CBS News does reserve the right to hit the mute button at any point. Another thing to note is there will be no live fact-checking by the moderators. That is going to be left up to the candidates themselves. Also, none of the candidates are getting the topics in advance nor the questions, and during the 2 breaks of the night, they will not be able to talk with their campaign aides. Coverage of the vice presidential debate starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on CBS.
Well, this morning, a Channel 3 exclusive and a heartbreaking update about the family of a child that was beaten by their stepfather with a baseball bat in Bridgeport. That family now speaking out, and they tell us medical experts believe 6-year-old Jathan Escobar will likely not survive his injuries and that he is confirmed to be brain dead. The family is still hoping for a miracle. Investigators say that Abdul Rahim Suleiman of attacking his stepson last week, his younger brother Jathan and a mother are also injured but are expected to survive.
It just hurts us to see that he had to go through such type violence.
Well, this morning, the young boy is on life support. That's the younger brother of the boy that is brain dead. Suleiman is in prison charged with attempted murder.
Well, in the wake of this tragedy, the police chief in Bridgeport will be hosting an open discussion about domestic violence on Facebook Live this morning. It starts at 11 o'clock. And then later tonight from 6 to 8, the University of Bridgeport and local police will hold a domestic violence conference at the Student Center.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and happening today, the mayor of Hartford and other local leaders will discuss the landscape for both victims and survivors at the state capitol. That event begins at 11:30 this morning.
2 drivers were killed in a head-on collision on Route 58 in Easton Saturday night. Police say 58-year-old Mario Lacona Bridgeport died at the scene, and 87-year-old Florence Mahoney died at the hospital. Police still investigating the crash.
Investigators have also released the identity of the baby who was killed in a crash in Berlin over the weekend. Another sad update for you. Police say Ella Salgado tragically died in a 3-car collision on Route 5. 2 adults and 2 other children were also in the same car and are recovering. We're working to learn the conditions of the other people involved in that crash. We'll keep you updated.
Glastonbury police warning folks to be aware of their surroundings after a group of criminals tried to rob a woman at gunpoint outside of a grocery store. The crime is just the latest in what investigators are saying is a string of similar robberies around our state. Police say the crime was committed in the parking lot of the Stop and Shop on Glastonbury Boulevard. The victim was able to drive away and was not hurt.
But to think that somebody would get stuck up at gunpoint on the weekend, grocery shopping, that's terrible. I couldn't imagine.
Police are still investigating the attack.
Yale students on high alert after 2 criminals mugged a student last Saturday. Police say the robberies took the victim's wallet, but thankfully no one was injured. Campus police are reminding students and everyone who goes on campus that they can use the blue phones on campus to report unusual behavior.
Police arrested 4 people after a massive street takeover in Stratford over the weekend. Investigators rushed to East Main Street after the drivers of hundreds of cars flooded that area. Police arrested these 4, Carlos Sanchez Hernandez, Malin Perez, Rodney Gist, and Tyler Ranger. They all face multiple charges, including breach of peace, and will appear in court later this month.
Well, update on Helene now. We now know as many as 130 people were killed after Helene devastated states across the southeast. Another 600 people are missing. Many more desperately need more food, water, and shelter. Connecticut restaurant owner Jamie McDonald has joined the relief efforts in Asheville, North Carolina, giving those folks free hot meals. McDonald owns Bear Smokehouse Barbecue here in Connecticut, and he'll be serving food from the restaurant's Asheville location in the days ahead.
Well, happening today, dozens of new laws taking effect. Starting today, police officers can no longer pause their body cams unless they think it will hurt an investigation. If a person hurts or kills a canine, they will have to pay restitution to the police department. And children's online data cannot be used to serve targeted ads. A lot of new laws going into effect today. You can head to our website or the WFSB app for a full list.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is 7:11. Now we have another beautiful view to share with you. This is out of Torrington with the sun coming up and just a few clouds. Now, it's a different story with some fog down towards New Haven, but that should be burning off here in the next hour or two. Max 57 degrees there. And you can see where that fog is located this morning. Some of the reporting sites are great, but just outside of that, you might run into some limited visibility. Other than that, some scattered clouds, some breaks of sunshine. Not a bad start to October with readings right now in the 50s. So for the kiddos heading out of the bus stop, no issues. And maybe the long sleeve, but this afternoon, another wonderful feeling day with highs in the low 70s and upper 60s. So great weather to start off the week. And in terms of watering, yeah, we're going to have to continue to do that for a while, but there are some signs of rain returning. We'll pinpoint that for you coming up a little bit later.